If you love ribs, but you're always thinking there's not enough meat on the bones, you are going to love country style ribs because they're the ribs with the most meat on the bone.
Ooh.
Yeah, they look it. You can tell that is Meat City.
That doesn't even look like a rib.
I know, they don't really. They definitely don't really look like traditional ribs. They come like this. We got these ones from one of our local butchers, Helenda's, and they come like this, but you can cook them like that, but I wanted to take these and cook them individually. I've always liked that look of individual slab ribs, so I'm like, let's give her a shot.
So if you were to ask for these at the butcher, what are they called in particular, though? You can't just say, I'm going to go get some baby back ribs. They're not going to look like this.
No, absolutely not. These are called country style ribs or Texas style ribs.
Very interesting. Yeah, that whole, it's just, there's a very small amount of bone on the end.
There's a bone on either end. So you still get that delicious flavor that we all know bones provide. Which I'm surprised that you're not saying anything about bone here. There's a lot of bone talk, a lot of meat talk. Let's try and get I wrecked this because I brought this up.
Yeah, like you drew attention to yourself. I don't need to talk about anything bone related because I leave it to the comments. People got us covered.
Ain't that the truth? Moving on. So I wanted to do my own rub for this, for these country style ribs, because I don't really like rubs that have sugar in them.
Neither do I. I feel like a lot of rubs rely heavily on sugar, salt, and MSG, all of which, okay, salt I am a big fan of, but I don't want a rub to be 99% salt.
No,
like it's got to have some flavors to it, and that's what making yours at home can do, is you can control what goes in there. So I like that too, honey.
This one has a little bit of a hidden ingredient that I add for a little bit of flavor and a lot of color. Yes, it just went up there. You missed it though.
Paprika?
That's in every single rub, buddy.
That's what it looked like.
Ground sumac.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Ground sumac.
Ground sumac.
Good flirting, Murdy.
I sometimes hear
I'll give you that.
Okay.
That sounded after school special. Ground sumac.
Okay, so why'd you put that in there?
Because it adds a nice earthy flavor, plus a little bit of a lemony flavor, which is unexpected. And it also, obviously, like I said, gives some color. So when you are making your barbecue rub, you want it to stick to the meat. So always use a binder. We love using a mustard binder. You can use a hot sauce. I wouldn't use barbecue sauce because, again, most barbecue sauces have sugar in them. And we don't want that in when you're doing a low and slow cook like we're doing today, because it can burn. It starts to develop that bark too soon.
So if you are interested in those sweet flavors, if you're like, well, my family really likes sweet barbecue sauce and sweet rubs, you can add a barbecue sauce, but later on in the cook. Don't add it at the very beginning, because like Maddie said, it'll start to get really dark really quickly, and then it will just put pressure on you, and you'll be like, oh no, what's happening here?
Exactly. So we are going to be using a barbecue rub on, or a barbecue sauce on these coming up later. But again, that happens in the last half hour of the cook, because that's when you can see the bark develop. You're like, I like the look of that. You put on some barbecue sauce, and then it takes it to that next level, that rich darkness, the candied flavors of, that's when you want the sugar there.
Ooh. So that looks like a small amount of rub. I'm surprised you didn't.
I knew you were going to say that.
I like to go heavy on the rub. That's why I'm saying that looks like a tablespoon. What's happening?
But for me personally, this is just my opinion. I think sometimes when it comes to barbecue, people can sauce too aggressively and they can rub too aggressively.
Buddy! I swear she doesn't do this on purpose, guys. This is what it's like living with her.
Instant sweaty here. Woo, that was a bad one.
You don't want to rub too aggressively.
You don't want to rub too aggressively
I like to add an aggressive amount of rub.
I don't, because these ribs and any pork ribs, you want to taste that pork flavor. If you add too much rub, if you add too much sauce, you don't taste the meat. I still want to taste the meat. I still want to taste that it's pork. So that's why I don't do any of that stuff too aggressively.
All right, to each their own.
Exactly.
Now, I like that. I the reason why I personally like using the Ninja for smoking low and slow is because you just saw that it took such a small amount of pellets.
We get asked all the time when it comes to the Ninja, do you reload during the cook? Our answer to that is no, because The pellets, once they get lit, they really add a lot of smoky flavor right at the beginning of the cook. You don't actually need to add any more. Obviously it's a preference thing. If you really want a strong smoke flavor, go for it. But I don't. I like a nice subtle hit of smoke, so I just load once.
You can't think of it in the same way that you would think of a traditional barbecue. It's not the same. So like Maddie said, the smoke flavor happens right at the beginning, and then it's there. You don't have to worry about being like, oh, that's such a small amount of pellets. How much flavor
there, all right.
is it going to provide?
Yes.
It provides a ton, and sometimes we've done it where you reload and it's too much.
Exactly.
And you don't want that.
But again, personal opinion, if you want it stronger, reload. Now, you can see here, I was starting to panic. Okay, this is a lot of ribs. It's a small grill. At first, I was like, we're going to space them apart. We're going to make it happen. But then I was like, okay, we're losing space here. We got to smush them in. We need to make it happen. And it did. Look, they're on there.
And you have to know, too, in these long cooks, it does shrink down a little bit.
Slightly. Again, these are more meat than fat. Fat is what usually shrinks down, but these ones don't really. Now, I needed to show you this here. See that? Does that not look like that could be hung up at an art gallery?
No, I was going to say it looks pretty gross to me.
To me, that looks like, obviously, art is subjective. And so I saw that. I was like, I would pay good money for that. If I saw that at an art gallery, I would give that a standing round of applause.
What do you call it?
It's a good question.
Maddie's meat magic.
Love it.
Okay, look at the color you're getting here.
That's the Ninja. That's how that the Ninja works at an exceptional rate. It's so quick. It's so easy. I had to get in there and check halfway through the cook. And then this is when the barbecue sauce comes in. So this one is one from our friends at Norfolk BBQ. They're local.
Yes,
they are. Very local.
Yeah, within an hour's drive, I believe.
Yes.
That's super local.
So I needed to give this a taste test. I smelled it. I think it's called Radical Apple. Love the name.
You chose the apple when I wanted that one.
I certainly did. So I had to get in there, give it a taste. You know I use my pinky, gave that a taste. Now, you're probably looking at this and seeing, why did she dump it in some water?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to do here is make what is known in the barbecue world as a mop sauce. So you don't want to put on straight up barbecue sauce at this stage, because a mop sauce is there to add flavor but also retain or maintain moisture.
Okay, that does look like the perfect consistency too. So if you wanted to, you could spray this on.
Yes.
It's very thin. You don't have to be brushing it on the way that you do, but sometimes I like to use a brush, because if you have any chunks in there whatsoever and you're trying to use a spray bottle and they get jammed up in there, that is so annoying.
I've spent a lot of money on different spray bottles and I haven't found one that I like. If you have one that you like, let us know, because I'd love to know.
And if they don't clog up at the top, because that's my biggest pet peeve. Those look phenomenal.
Are they not picture perfect?
They're absolutely picture perfect, and I can already tell that they are going to be tender just by the looks of them.
And you can tell that is a lot of meat on those bones.
Yes, you're right. They didn't actually shrink down as much as I thought they would.
Because they're, like I said, there's not a lot of fat on these ribs, so that's just pure straight up meat.
Ooh.
Look at that. You can tell that is tender city.
That looks tender. It looks juicy. That looks phenomenal. Now, how was that barbecue sauce?
The barbecue sauce was delicious. It was sweet, but not overly sweet. Sometimes barbecue sauces are just like, they just rely on the brown sugar.
Yes.
This one did have a slight apple flavor in it. I was obsessed with it. I will definitely get it again.
I like that this barbecue sauce.
Look, I gave it another donkey dunk. That's not the mop sauce. That's straight up barbecue sauce.
You can tell it's thicker.
Yes.
I like that this sauce company in particular uses local ingredients, because some barbecue sauces will just use like regular, like I said, salt, white sugar, whatever. I love that this one has local apples. I picked a strawberry one that I'm really excited about. Sorry, you didn't get that one.
Okay, so you wanted both the fruit ones.
Yes, I did.
Mine's Radical Apple. Okay?
And I like that name too.
What's the strawberry one called? Do you know?
No,
all right,
I don't.
Well, it's coming up in an extra in another video. We'll see it then.
Yeah, it does. I feel like that strawberry one would have been good on these too. But those look phenomenal, honey. And if you have never made ribs on your Ninja yet, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, we've done beef ribs. We've done, obviously, pork ribs. We just love that grill. We know that you guys do too. We constantly get questions. When are you guys making more Ninja videos? We got this one and then another one coming up after this, plus probably many more.
Yes, definitely.